Cinnamon rolls, guys. Cinnamon rolls is a yeast recipe. Y'all know I love yeast recipes, right? First thing we're gonna do is start proofing our yeast, and then we're gonna talk about the ingredients in the process. So here I've got about a third of a cup of water, heated it to about 112 degrees. You wanna get it between 105 and 115, somewhere in there. Remember, if it's too cold, the yeast stay asleep. If it's too hot, okay. You get it, right? All right, so here we go. We're gonna add some yeast to that, about a pack of yeast. And this is the sugar we're gonna put in the cinnamon roll, but I'm just gonna sneak just about a half a teaspoon of it and put it in there. That's gonna feed the yeast because yeast need to eat. You know, think about it. If you take a nap and you wake up, what's the first thing you wanna do? Eat something? Well, yeast is no different. Okay, so we're gonna let this sit here and feed on itself and wake up and perk up, and as it perks up, it should get foamy in here, and that's how we'll know our yeast is active. So I'm gonna set this aside. That should take no more than 5 to 7 minutes or something like that. And we're gonna go into our other ingredients here and start mixing. So we've got here some milk, whole milk, plain whole milk. You can also use buttermilk and other things, but we're just using plain whole milk. Some things simple, and the easier you do it, the better. So we've got milk, some melted butter, some eggs here, our sugar, a little bit of baking powder just to give it a little more poof, some flour, and some canola oil. The oil is really good for the texture of baked goods. It helps them be just a little lighter and fluffier. You don't need to substitute all oil, but putting just a smidge in there, trust me, it'll go a long way. All right, guys? And the other thing I want you to know is when you're making this type of dough or any dough, when you add eggs, milk, and butter, you're basically enriching it, because all you really need to make any kind of bread is yeast, flour, water, and salt, right? So when you add in eggs, milk, butter, it becomes enriched, and that's where all the good calories come from. Okay, we're gonna get all of our wet ingredients going in here while our yeast proofs. Then we're gonna add everything together and mix it all up. So here we're gonna start with my milk. All right, put that in. And these are just 2 eggs that I've lightly beaten. I'm gonna add that in there as well. Okay, and I'm gonna start by just beating these 2 together. Okay, now I'm working upside down, y'all, with this mixer. So let's hope I can see it. All right, here we go. And okay, now this butter we have here, we're gonna also add that into our mixture. I'm gonna leave a little bit of the butter in the bowl because I'm going to take this little bit of butter here and line my bowl for when my dough rises, okay? Let's get this going. Okay, now look at our yeast. Do you see how this is foamed up all nice and pretty? If it doesn't do this, stop. Okay, stop. Stop everything. Because if this doesn't happen, ain't nothing gonna happen to your cinnamon rolls, baby. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, but it just ain't gonna happen, okay? So our yeast is foamed up nicely. It woke up, we gave it a little sugar, so it had a little something to eat. She's like, hey, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and do this. So let's go ahead and add her to the party. All right, and I'm gonna make sure I get all of these little good bits out. I want every piece of yeast. Hey, if I say those words incorrectly, they rhyme. Every piece of yeast. It's called Calibama cooking, people. All right, let's whisk that together. While we've got that going, here is our flour. I'm gonna add the sugar in here and my baking powder. Put a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and I'm going to, this is my version of whisking today, y'all. Getting these all mixed in together. All right, we're gonna slowly start adding this flour to this mixture, okay? Now, what I'm not gonna do is dump it all in and watch everything go crazy, because I got on a black shirt and no apron right now. It's probably good, I can do it properly. All right, so we're gonna start by just adding a little bit in here. See how I'm just adding a little bit there at a time? I mean, if you want to dump it all in there, go ahead, sugar. I wouldn't advise it. All right, you see how I'm just slowly incorporating this? By incorporating the flour a little at a time, I'm giving it a chance to hydrate. And that's extremely important in bread making or cinnamon roll making. You need your flour to get hydrated, because that's what really makes a good loaf of bread. See how I started a little slow? Let it start to come together. just a bit. All right, now I've got a little bit of flour left here, and I'm using 4 cups of flour today. Did I do this right? Oh, I locked the thing closed trying to open it up, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna add the last of this flour in here. Okay, this is 4 cups. I've got this extra cup of flour in case my dough gets too sticky or I need to do something to help my hands, not stick to the dough, etc. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off right now. And that's all we really need to do. Now what I'm gonna do is take a look. I want you to see something. You see how there's still just a few bits of dry flour there? Okay, what we're gonna do for those bits is we are gonna still give this one more little stir just to make sure everything gets covered and has a chance to get coated. And now we're gonna put this in a bowl so it can rise for about an hour. So I'm gonna take a bowl. Remember that little butter we left over when we were putting it into our mix? It's right here. And I'm just gonna pour this in my bowl and line this. You can also use vegetable oil for something like this. I wouldn't use olive oil because olive oil has a flavor, and we're not making olive oil cinnamon rolls. I've never heard of that. I'm all for being creative, but I'm not gonna be creative with these cinnamon rolls because my kids know I'm making them. And my creativity could get me into the mom doghouse. And no, I've been doing a really good job of staying out of the mom doghouse. So I'm not trying to go back. So now we're gonna take this out of here. See how it's even pulling away? That's what we wanted. We didn't want it is a tacky dough. See there? It is sticky, okay? But you see how it's not sticking so to my fingers that it's wet. It's tacky, not wet. All right, guys, now we're gonna get plastic wrap. Ooh, right there. I'm looking back there. It's right here. Plastic wrap, cover this up. I'm gonna put this in my oven, turned off, and let it rise for about an hour. Should double in size. Then we'll come back, punch it out, load them up, and we are close to having cinnamon rolls. While our cinnamon rolls are rising, we're gonna get our filling ready. This is the magic. What I have in here is a stick of butter, a cup of brown sugar, and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. And I'm just gonna give these a mix together. And I'm just using a plain fork. You can use your stand mixer if you want to, but honestly, I'm trying to cut down on my dish situation. So I'm just gonna go at this way. Make sure this stick of butter is very soft. You can even melt it if you want to, but I just like it being nice and soft, okay? Well, our cinnamon roll dough has been in the oven. The oven was turned off, rising for the last hour. And look at this. You see that? See how this has doubled in size? A little more than doubled, actually. That's exactly what we wanted to have happen. Okay, just like so. There we go. Put this half back here, over here. All right. Okay, here we go. You see this? See how I'm rolling this out? I don't want it to be too thin, because if it's too thin, what's going to happen is it'll tear apart as we roll it. If it's too thick, it's just going to be too bready, okay? Now, I'm going to go back over here, take our filling. We got this to a nice pasty consistency, and again, I'm just using about half, right? Half down. That's got the butter and the cinnamon and the brown sugar in it. And I'm going to spread. Now, I can't spread it like butter, okay? Okay, so I'm using my hand. You see what I'm doing? Some people will line it with butter and then sprinkle the sugar and the cinnamon on top of it. I actually have found that if you get them together first like this, to me it comes out a little bit better. I could be wrong. I was wrong before. It was in 19... I'm kidding. Okay, apparently I'm getting giddy in the kitchen today too. Use as much filling as you need, okay? It's easy to make more. All you need is butter, sugar, cinnamon. Is that right? Butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, yes, okay. And I'm just gonna keep spreading this out till I get it like I want it. Now, I'm gonna roll. You're gonna roll nice and tight, okay? So you see how I'm starting here? See what I did there? I just turned it up, and look. I'm rolling. Can you see me rolling, guys? Let me move this, make sure you can see me rolling. Make sure you can see it. This is important. See that? And I'm actually rolling this pretty tightly, okay? See there? And you see why we didn't want to roll this out too thin? See, I'm gonna switch the direction like this so I can get a little more space here. And I'm rolling. You see that? Look at that. Beautiful. Now we're gonna go and tuck this bottom part together. I just kind of turn it over and use my hand to just kind of squeeze it together like this. And that just helps close and seal that bottom part. Okay, now we're gonna get ready to cut these. Gonna chop off the end so we can have a nice smooth part to start with. And I like to bake these and eat them. Okay, all right, let's get these. I'm just gonna kind of count my scoring. These are not gonna be those huge ones. These are gonna be good sized ones. So I have rolled and cut all of our cinnamon rolls up, and I ended up just kind of putting them in some different pans and things. Look at this. Let them rise for a few more minutes while my oven finishes heating. These are the last little babies, so they're not quite ready. We're gonna get these ready to go. What I recommend is just take a little bit of cream, okay? And just put a little bit just on the top like that. It's just gonna do wonders for the flavor and everything. It's just gonna just trust, okay? Trust. I wouldn't steer you wrong, okay? Not a ton, just a little on there. It's gonna bake in, it's gonna be good. We're gonna put these in a 375-degree oven for about 15 to 18 minutes or so. It's gonna depend on your oven. And we're gonna mix up our cream cheese icing, the best thing ever. And as soon as they come out, we are gonna slather these bad boys up. All right, guys, into the oven they go. All right, we are in the final stretch of our cinnamon rolls, guys. We're gonna mix up some cream cheese icing while they finish baking, because as soon as they come out of the oven, we want to put this on, that we want it ready to go. I've got a block of cream cheese in here that's been softened. There you go, give it just a little mix to get it started. And to that, I'm gonna add some confectioner's sugar, okay? And I've got about a little over a cup here, and I'm just gonna start adding and slowly get it into the consistency that I want it to be. And I've also got a little bit of that cream that we added to the top, because that'll help as well. So just, there we go. All right, I'm gonna add some more of this sugar in here. There we go. A drop of the cream, not much, because I don't want it to become a liquid soft thing. I just want a little bit of that cream. And I'm also gonna add a smidge of vanilla. There we go. All right, now let's give this a nice mix. Take our time so we don't make a mess. All right, guys, look at this. I've still got my mittens in my hand. It's still bubbling. This is absolutely beautiful, okay? If something can taste beautiful, this is it. Now, they just came out. Remember I told you while they're hot, we're gonna take this icing. See that consistency we got, real nice? All right, and we're going to start slathering, okay? Just like that. And we're doing it while it's hot like this because we want this to melt into all the pieces. I'm gonna put it on there first, and then we're gonna go back and we'll brush it in a little bit more, but we're just gonna let it start melting while they're still hot. We did it. This is it. This is how you make cinnamon rolls at home. Do it your way or do it my way. However you do it, do it. If you need more icing, honey, make some more. But trust me, the way this is melting in there, I promise you, there is enough icing. I promise. I wouldn't lead you wrong. All right, y'all. Good God, this is beautiful. Look, look! I need to just, that's all I'm gonna break off. That's it, because I gotta get a picture. And when you see the picture, something's gonna look different. Yes, Lord. Go ahead keeps ringing. It's all just the joy bells. You know what I mean? Church folks know what I'm talking about. Joy bells ringing, ringing, cinnamon rolls ringing. I love y'all. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. Hope you make some cinnamon rolls for you and yours. I'll see you next time right here back in the Love Lab for more Calibama cooking with me, Chef Lorious. Happy cooking.